Hi, my name is Camille Schulke. I'm the greenhouse farmer here at the Parkview Community Greenhouse and Gardens. Today, I'm going to show you how to build a raised bed for your vegetable garden that anyone, no matter what your skill level is, can build. Come on, let's get started. The bed that we're gonna make will be 2 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and 6 feet long. I've already got one layer of it built. We're gonna build another layer to get our 2 feet tall part. So the type of wood that I chose is a pine, and I chose untreated because we'll be growing vegetables in our garden, so I wanted to be careful of chemicals in the treated wood. So we will need of the pine here, 12 inches wide, 2 inches thick. I went to the store and actually had them cut all the boards I needed. So I got 4 boards, 10 feet long of this size. I had them cut each board 4 feet and 6 feet. And then also, to reinforce our bed, I had the store cut 22.5-inch long 2x4s, and we will need 8 of these. So you don't even need a saw, you don't even need a measuring tape. All you have to do is just make sure you call the store first to make sure they can cut these boards for you. While you're at the store, see if you can get some scraps, because I'll show you here pretty soon how these can be handy. And then we'll also need some screws. So these are 2.5-inch long wood screws. These are self-drilling screws, so you don't have to pre-drill. You can just drill directly with these. And you'll need about 100 of these approximately. And then also you'll need a drill and a drill bit. So the screws that I bought had a drill bit come with them. If they don't, you'll need to get a bit. So here I have a star-ended bit. I have a battery-operated drill. And then I have here, this is the torque that's set at 18. For me, I'm not the best with drills, so I have it on a slow speed on 1 here. And then to back screws, to go backwards, to unscrew something, you'll set your screen this way. And then to screw something in, you will push that button. So now we're screwing in. So to start, I have our 6-foot board here. And one thing that we want to keep in mind is which direction the rings on the wood is. So the part where the rings are going to the inside, like this is the center of the tree, we will want that to be on the inside of the bed. Place the board here, and if you don't have a second set of hands, something like this that I'm gonna lean the board up against is really helpful. And that is also where these little things come in handy. You can prop these underneath to help give you some space between the grass and the board to work with. So next we're gonna grab our 4-foot board and do the same thing. Make sure our rings are facing inward. And then we're going to bring that to the corner. So we might have to adjust this just a little bit. Flush that up. Just do the best you can just by holding your hand up here to make sure it's flush. And then up from about 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the top is where I'm gonna put the first screw, and to make sure it goes in the center here. So you want to make sure that the screw is set just below the outer part of the wood there. And then we'll put a second one in the middle, halfway through, and then another one at the bottom here. So now we're going to grab our other 6-foot board, and then we're going to do the opposite of what we did on the other end. So we're going to put the 6-foot board on the outside of the 4-foot, whereas over here we put it on the inside. So down on this final end, we're gonna connect this last 4-foot board with these 2 6-foot boards. So we also want to stagger this side just like we did the other side, but we wanna make sure it's the opposite of the other side. So over here, the 4-foot board's gonna be on the outside of the 6-foot, and then over here, the 4-foot's gonna be on the inside of the 6-foot. So now that we have our bottom and top layer built, we've set our top layer on. So now what we need to do when setting that top layer on is still making sure it's the opposite. So this 6-foot board is going over this lower 4-foot board here. Next, we need to make sure this is flush. So again, it doesn't need to be perfect. So what I do is I just take my hands like this to make sure it's flush up against the sides, and I'll do that going all the way around. So now it's time to grab our 22.5-inch long 2x4s. So we're gonna put one flush up this way on our 4-foot edge, and then we'll grab the other one and put it flush up with the other 2x4 on the other edge. This is where we'll really add some strength to our raised beds. And then we'll screw them in. You can do 3 to 4 screws per layer, however much you feel comfortable with. So now we have our raised bed, our bottom layer, top layer, we've got our reinforcements in. So now all you need to do is, if you don't already have it where you want it in your yard, make sure you have it where you want it and find a spot that is level and then fill it with dirt. It'll take probably about 1.5 yards or about 20 bags of 2-foot cubic soil, depending on which route you go. So I hope you learned a lot today about building a raised bed, and happy gardening.